Hello, Ecotopians. Hey, I am cracking up here because I just tried to shoot this video and I started out by playing this YouTube video for you guys by the Indigo Girls called Watershed, which is what this video is all about. And so I started playing it like this, and I thought that you guys couldn't hear it, but I think you can. But I can hear it really loudly on my headphones, and I was trying to speak and listen to these guys sing at the same time, and it was terrible. And then I accidentally pressed this button here, and this is what happened.
Gold in the rainbow, and nothing panned out as I planned.
Okay, so anyway, I had to delete that video. Anyway, what I'm hoping is that you'll watch this song here sometime because it's really good and it has to do with watersheds. But what I really want to do is get very academic here and tell you what a watershed is. And the reason is because I've taught this class several times already, and I've found that some students don't know what a watershed is, and I accidentally assumed everybody did. I also assumed that if you don't know what something is, you would A, either ask me, B, find out for yourself, or C, find out for yourself. How would you find out for yourself? I would Google it. So this is what would happen if you Googled watershed. You come up with these two hits. What is a watershed by the US EPA? Let's take a look. What is a watershed? And they say a watershed is the area of land where all of the water that is under it or drains off it goes into the same place. Okay, you can think about that and maybe you'd get it. And then they go to say that there's John Wesley Powell actually said it better, and I'll let you read what Wesley Powell had to say. But before I talk about it more extemporaneously, I wanted to show you what Wikipedia says a watershed is. So you click on Wikipedia and they don't have an entry for watershed. You gotta go, huh, what? Well, they have entertainment and technology and medical, but they also say a watershed is also known as a drainage divide or a drainage basin, and that's what I'm interested in you knowing. What is a drainage basin or a watershed? So what you could do is read all this stuff. But what I will simply do is expand upon the EPA definition and show you a couple pictures. So this picture here, I hope you can see it. I'm going to make it bigger. It might show up better. That's as good as we can do. Okay. Let me go back. All right. This is a weird demonstration of a watershed. It's got all these blue squiggly lines with a dotted line around it. And what it means is that this is an area of land. An area of land. That's an important concept here. It's not just where the creek is, but it's an area of land that gathers the water that feeds the creek. Okay? But it's more. It includes all the creeks that gather together and drain to a certain point. So it's very important when talking about a watershed to define what that point is, because that point is going to define the area of land that gathers water to that point. So the Mississippi watershed is enormous, but it's composed of many smaller watersheds. Okay, so if you're following me, let's pretend this is the Mississippi watershed. It's enormous, but it's composed of smaller watersheds. So all the area of land that gathers water for these two creeks is also a watershed. It's a smaller watershed that is a component of a larger watershed, the Mississippi watershed. Okay, think about that, see if you get it. If you don't, let me know. I just want to show you two more pictures. One is this picture, which I think I can zoom on a bit on. It's just a better picture of the same thing. This shows actual topography, and it shows a bunch of rivers coming together and draining to a certain point. So all these little creeks and rivers that drain to a certain point are part of this larger watershed that they have outlined in red. No problemo. And this is kind of what I want you to create in your assignment. You want to find a map, and then you want to outline that watershed. Now, the outlined area is very important for you to understand. What is this red line really? It is a divide between one watershed and another watershed. It's a divide. So it could be a ridge top, it could be a pass, it could be a mountain peak. Anywhere where you pour a bunch of water and half of it would flow into one side and half would flow to the other side is a drainage divide. Okay, so your challenge, really the hardest part, aside from the technological aspects of your assignment, is to look at your topography and try to find those ridges that separate your watershed from another watershed and follow that divide all the way around. Some people are better at reading maps than others. Do the best you can and we'll see what you get. Don't do this. This is where many of my other students went wrong in talking about watersheds. They said, I visited my watershed and I crossed it and then I crossed it back and I got my feet wet because I slipped in a rock and then there was a bridge over my watershed so I crossed over that. That person is talking about a creek. A creek is not a watershed. A creek is just the above ground water flowing over the land. A watershed is the area of land and may have many creeks in it. Make sure you understand that. Muy importante. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm done. I'm just going to get this playing and then we'll say goodbye.
They say only milk and honey is gonna make your soul satisfied. Well, I better learn how to swim, 'cause the crossing is chilly and wide. Twisted guard